Ever wondered how Wi-Fi, this invisible magic, works? How does a wireless signal carry all that information to your devices? Well, it's not magic, but a fascinating blend of science and technology that brings the world to your fingertips. Imagine a day without Wi-Fi. Sounds impossible, right? That's how deeply ingrained it is in our lives. From scrolling through social media feeds to streaming our favorite shows, from working remotely to controlling smart home devices, from Wi-Fi is the unsung hero that makes it all possible. But behind this everyday convenience, there's a complex process that most of us take for granted. Wi-Fi, or wireless fidelity, is a technology that uses radio waves to provide network connectivity. It creates a communication bridge between devices and the internet, enabling a seamless flow of data. But how does it do all this? What's the science behind it? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unravel. Stay tuned to discover the magic behind Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, in essence, is a high-tech version of two-way radio communication. It's like a modern-day carrier pigeon, but instead of feathers, it wears an invisible coat of electromagnetic waves. It's our invisible messenger, darting back and forth between devices, carrying our data, and connecting us to the world. Just as we use languages to communicate with each other, Wi-Fi uses a specific kind of language too, the language of radio waves. Imagine radio waves as invisible threads, stretching and contracting, weaving an intricate web of communication in the air around us. This web is what Wi-Fi uses to carry our information from one place to another. These radio waves are not random or chaotic. They are meticulously organized, forming specific patterns that can be decoded by our devices. It's like Morse code, but instead of dots and dashes, we have peaks and valleys of electromagnetic waves. Each pattern represents different data: a photo, a message, a song, or a movie, anything we want to send or receive through the Wi-Fi network. But how does Wi-Fi create these patterns? It uses a process called modulation. Modulation is like the conductor of an orchestra controlling the rhythm and pitch of the radio waves. It adjusts the frequency and amplitude of the waves to create distinct patterns, and it's this modulation that transforms the raw radio waves into a meaningful language that our devices can understand. And just like the speed of light, these radio waves travel incredibly fast. They zip through the air at nearly 300,000 kilometers per second, which is why we can enjoy almost instantaneous communication. Whether you're sending an email, streaming a video, or playing an online game, Wi-Fi ensures your data gets where it needs to go in the blink of an eye. So, Wi-Fi is not just a tool. It's a symphony of invisible waves, a ballet of data in motion. It's an invisible messenger that connects us to the world, and all without a single wire in sight. So, Wi-Fi is a magician that speaks the language of radio waves. So, how does Wi-Fi talk in radio language? Well, it's all about frequency bands, specifically 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. Just like a radio station, Wi-Fi uses these specific frequencies to communicate. You can think of these frequencies as different lanes on a highway. The 2.4 gigahertz band is like your standard lane. It's reliable, can travel longer distances, and it's compatible with almost all devices. But it's also more crowded, with lots of devices trying to use it at the same time. On the other hand, the 5 gigahertz band is like an express lane. It's faster and less congested, but can't travel as far, and may not be compatible with all devices. These frequencies help your data travel smoothly and quickly, just like a well-organized highway system. So next time your Wi-Fi seems slow, remember it could be a traffic jam in your frequency band. These frequency bands are the secret highways for your data. Now that we have our data highways, we need a traffic controller, the router. This powerful device is the heart of any Wi-Fi network. It is the central hub that manages the flow of information between your devices and the internet. Let's get to know this technological maestro a little better. Imagine the router as a multi-talented translator. It receives data from the internet in the form of binary code, which is essentially a series of ones and zeros. This data might be your latest email, a trending tweet, or the next episode of your favorite show. The router then converts this binary code into radio signals, which are broadcasted through the air. Your devices, like your smartphone or laptop, pick up these signals and convert them back into the data you can use. like displaying that email in your inbox or playing that episode on your streaming service. But that's not all. The router also works in reverse. When you send a message or post a photo, your device converts that data into radio signals. The router picks up these signals, decodes them back into binary code, and sends them on their way to the internet. So the router is essentially a two-way translator, constantly converting data between binary code and radio signals. It is also a traffic controller, managing the flow of data to ensure that it gets to the right device at the right time. It's worth mentioning that the router also provides a certain degree of security for your Wi-Fi network. It can block unwanted traffic, protect your devices from cyber threats, and even manage access to certain websites. In the grand symphony of Wi-Fi communication, the router is the conductor, directing the flow of data, ensuring harmony between devices, and protecting the integrity of the network. Remember, without the router, your devices would be unable to communicate with the internet or each other. They would be isolated islands in a sea of potential connections. The router indeed is the unsung hero, juggling data to keep your devices connected. Like any language, Wi-Fi too has its grammar, the Wi-Fi protocols. When we talk about Wi-Fi, we often hear terms like 802, 11A 802, 11B 802.11G 802, 11N and 802, 11AC. Ever wondered what these mean? Well, these are the Wi-Fi protocols, the rules of communication which allow devices to talk to each other over the airwaves. Let's start with 802, 11A. Introduced in the late 90s, this protocol operates at 5 GHz frequency and can transmit data at a speed of up to 54 megabits per second. However, due to its high frequency, its range is limited and it has difficulty penetrating walls. Then came 802, 11B, a protocol that operates at a lower frequency of 2.4 GHz, allowing for greater range and wall penetration. The trade-off? A slower maximum data transmission speed of 11 megabits per second. The 802.11G, introduced in 2003, combined the best of both worlds. It operates at 2.4 GHz like the 802, 11B, but can transmit data at a speed similar to 802, 11A, that is 54 megabits per second. Fast forward to 2009, and we have 802, 11N. This protocol introduced the concept of multiple input and multiple output, or MIMO. MIMO uses multiple antennas to send and receive up to 4 streams of data simultaneously, dramatically increasing the speed and range of Wi-Fi communication. Last but not least, we have 802, 11AC, the protocol most of us are probably using right now. Operating at 5 GHz and utilizing up to 8 MIMO streams, it can transmit data at a staggering speed of over 1 gigabit per second. These protocols, from 802, 11A to 802, 11AC, define the speed, range, and manner in which our devices communicate over Wi-Fi. They are the grammar that structures the language of Wi-Fi, setting the rules for how data is encoded, transmitted, and decoded. These protocols ensure that Wi-Fi speaks a universal language. So the next time you connect to a Wi-Fi network, remember the invisible protocols at work, making your browsing, streaming, and gaming experiences possible. So, we have unraveled the mystery of Wi-Fi. It's not just a magical invisible force that connects us to the internet, but a well-orchestrated dance of radio signals, frequency bands, routers, and protocols. Let's do a quick recap. We started our journey with the invisible messenger, the radio communication. We learned that Wi-Fi is essentially a method of radio communication. It's like a two-way radio conversation where data is sent and received over radio signals. Next, we discovered Wi-Fi's language, the frequency bands. We learned that Wi-Fi uses 2 main frequency bands, 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz. These bands are like highways for data, allowing information to travel back and forth between your device and the internet. Our journey then took us to the heart of Wi-Fi, the router. We learned that the router plays a crucial role in managing Wi-Fi connections. It acts as a traffic controller, directing the flow of information between the internet and your devices. It's the router that translates the data from the internet into a language your device can understand, and vice versa. Finally, we dove into the rules of communication, the Wi-Fi protocols. We discovered that these protocols are the rules that define how data is formatted and transmitted over Wi-Fi. They ensure that your device and the router are speaking the same language, allowing them to communicate smoothly. So there you have it. Wi-Fi is not just a simple click and connect process. It's a complex and fascinating technology that involves radio communication, frequency bands, a diligent router, and carefully defined protocols. It's a testament to human ingenuity and the relentless pursuit of connectivity and convenience. Next time you connect to Wi-Fi, remember the magic and complex technology that makes it all possible.